Hello, I'm Oliver, and today we're stepping into one of the most magical worlds ever created. Not a world of loud explosions, not a world where strength means screaming louder than your enemies, but a world filled with mystery, beautiful magic, and secrets hidden inside ink itself. Today, we're talking about QIFREY. Now, before we begin, I want you to imagine something. What if magic wasn't born inside people, but created by drawings? Think about that for a second. No glowing powers from birth, no destiny, no chosen one. Just ink, circles, symbols, and imagination. Honestly, that idea alone already makes Witch Hat Atelier feel different from almost every fantasy anime. And then there's QIFREY, the mysterious witch with the wide hat, the calm voice, and eyes that always look like they're hiding something. Now tell me honestly, what was your first impression of QIFREY? Did he feel kind, cool, suspicious? Because for me, the first time I saw him, I instantly thought, okay, this man definitely knows more than he's saying. And honestly, I was right. That's what makes QIFREY such an interesting character. He feels warm and comforting, but at the same time, there's always mystery surrounding him, like he's carrying secrets too heavy to speak aloud. Now let's talk about his design for a moment. Because wow, Witch Hat Atelier has some of the most beautiful art in manga history. Every page feels like a moving painting. And QIFREY? He looks like he walked directly out of an ancient fairy tale. The oversized witch hat, the elegant robes, the soft expressions, everything about him feels magical without trying too hard. And honestly, that quiet elegance makes him cooler than characters who constantly try to look powerful. Now let me ask you something. Do you know what separates memorable characters from forgettable ones? Emotion, presence, atmosphere. And QIFREY has all three. The moment he appears, the mood changes instantly. You feel calmer, curious, interested, like you're listening to someone who has seen the hidden side of the world. And honestly, that's rare, very rare. Now, one of my favorite things about QIFREY is the way he teaches magic. Most fantasy mentors in anime act distant, cold, strict. But QIFREY, he feels human, gentle, patient. And honestly, the relationship between him and Coco is one of the most beautiful mentor-student dynamics I've seen in a long time. Now, if you know Witch Hat Atelier, then you already know Coco's story begins with tragedy. A little girl fascinated by magic, suddenly discovering a forbidden truth. And from that moment, her life changes forever. Now imagine how terrifying that situation must have felt. You accidentally destroy the life you once knew, and suddenly you're thrown into a hidden magical world filled with danger and secrets. Most people would panic, but QIFREY, he becomes the calm in the middle of the storm. That's what makes him special. He doesn't just teach spells, he guides people emotionally. And honestly, I think that's why so many readers connect with him, because he feels safe, like the type of person who would quietly help you when nobody else notices you're struggling. Now let's talk about the magic system for a second, because honestly, Witch Hat Atelier might have one of the smartest magic systems in modern fantasy. Magic isn't random, it's art, drawing, precision, creativity. Every spell begins with ink and symbols, and somehow that makes every magical moment feel more meaningful. Now think about QIFREY inside this world. A man who mastered these complex magical symbols, yet still teaches others with patience. That tells you a lot about him, because true intelligence isn't showing off, it's helping others understand. And honestly, QIFREY never feels arrogant despite being incredibly skilled. That's another reason people love him. Now, here's where things become interesting, because underneath all the calmness, QIFREY carries pain too. You can feel it, even when he smiles, even when he teaches. There's sadness hidden inside him, like someone chasing answers he still hasn't fully found. And honestly, those are my favorite types of characters, characters who feel emotionally layered. Not perfect, not simple, human. Now let me ask all of you something honestly. Do you trust QIFREY completely? Because sometimes I do. And sometimes I don't. And that mystery is exactly what makes him fascinating. There are moments where he feels gentle and comforting, and then suddenly, you notice how much he hides from others. And you start wondering, what happened to him? What is he searching for? What pain created this version of him? That curiosity keeps pulling you deeper into the story. And honestly, great characters always leave questions inside your mind. Now let's talk about aesthetics again for a second. Because the atmosphere around QIFREY feels magical in the best possible way. Soft lights, Ancient libraries, flowing robes, moonlit scenes, floating ink. Everything around him feels dreamlike, like a fantasy world you don't want to leave. And honestly, that's exactly why Witch Hat Atelier feels so unforgettable. It doesn't just show magic, it makes magic feel beautiful again. Not flashy, beautiful. And QIFREY represents that perfectly. Now here's something I really admire about him. Despite all his knowledge, he still treats learning like something precious. That's important. Because many powerful characters in anime become arrogant, but QIFREY still looks at magic with curiosity, wonder, respect. And honestly, I think that mindset is inspiring even outside anime, because no matter how talented someone becomes, there's always more to learn. Now let me ask you something again. If you could learn magic from any anime mentor, would you choose QIFREY? Honestly, I probably would, because he doesn't feel like someone trying to control his students. He feels like someone opening a hidden door for them, a guide, not a ruler. And honestly, that difference matters. Now, one thing I absolutely love about QIFREY is how emotionally quiet he is. He doesn't constantly explain his feelings. He doesn't scream dramatically, but you can feel his emotions through small moments, tiny expressions, silence, the way he looks at people. And honestly, that type of subtle storytelling is beautiful, because sometimes silence says more than words ever could. Now let's be honest for a second. Witch Hat Atelier is underrated, very underrated. Not enough people talk about how incredible this series truly is. The artwork, masterpiece. The world building, amazing. The atmosphere, absolutely magical. And QIFREY is one of the biggest reasons the story feels so special, because he perfectly represents the soul of the series. Mystery, beauty, kindness, pain, wonder, all mixed together. Now imagine entering a dark library at midnight, candles glowing softly, ancient books stacked endlessly, ink symbols floating in the air, and somewhere inside that silence stands QIFREY. Honestly, that image alone feels like poetry. That's how powerful the atmosphere of this series is. Now before we end, I want to ask all of you one final question. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Oliver Artwork for more anime art videos. And tell me in the comments, which anime character should I draw next?